Okay, so this is card 1. Actually, Okay, so now for card 2, we're just going to cut this at, it's 8.5 by 5.5. You're going to score it at 4 1/4. Then you're going to turn your cardstock and you're going to cut into your card 1 1/4 from both sides. So you'll do 1 1/4. You're going to start from the top to the score line. So 1 1/4. And then you're going to flip your cardstock over and do 1 1/4 again. All the way down to the score line. Okay. Then for our cardstock, we're going to cut, or for our border pieces anyways. I don't have any lemon lolly right here, so I'm just going to grab some real quick. For the lemon lolly pattern, you're going to cut 4 at 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. Or actually, I'm going to do 4 1/8. You're going to cut 4 of these, so okay, put those to the side, and then you're going to need a piece that is 4 1/8 by let's see, 5 3/8. This won't be big enough, so let's do 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This will all be done for you in your kit. I just want to show you. So if you want to make another one or make other cards, let's see. I think we have one more lemon lolly at 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. So let's see. This is 4 1/8. Let's see if I got 2 7/8 in here. Yes. Okay, so there's our lemon lolly. We have one more lemon lolly that is 5 1/8 or 5 1/2 by 5/8. So we're going to do the 5 1/2 by 5/8. Okay, so put that to the side. Now we're going to cut 4 strips of your designer series paper. Let me pick up the one that I picked. You can pick whichever one you want, because your designer series paper you will cut yourself. That's just part of you being able to custom the card the way you want. These you're going to cut 4 of these strips, and they're going to be 1 inch by 4 inches. So I'm going to do my first cut at 4 and then just cut my 1 inch strips. Okay, put those to the side. And then you're going to pick another designer series paper that you like. I picked one with a scene on it with the balloons. You're going to cut that at 4 or 2 3/4 wide. So 2 3/4 by 4. Okay, put that to the side. So let me see, we got our 4, we got all of our lemon lolly, we got our DSP. So now we're going to cut a balmy blue layer. And this is going to be cut at 3/4 by 5.5. I'm pretty sure this is already 5.5. Yes. Lemon lolly, we cut that already. So now we're going to cut a piece of basic white cardstock. Let's see if I can pull one out of my scrap bin that's long enough. Let's see, basic white. Where am I at? I'm looking at my screen up here with the PDF on it. So we're going to do 5.5. I put 5 1/5. This is why I like to use my thing, because I know that I can double check my measurements. So it's 5.5 by 1/2. Okay. And then we'll need a piece that's going to cut our inside panel. And that's going to be 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. This is our card base. Let me get all this out of the way. So now you'll need to die cut out of balmy blue. You're going to want to die cut this heart out of the I think I gave you guys the bubble bath. You'll cut that. And out of the Calypso Coral, you will die cut that. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so we got those pieces done. We're just going to glue those together. Before I do any gluing, I'm just going to go ahead and do my stamping. Well, actually, no, I won't. I'll wait to do the stamping because, well, let's just put part of this together. So you're going to fold all this in. And then I want to put these layers on first. This is good. Now, if you want, you can flip it, whatever you want to do. For my card, I did, I'm sorry, let me measure this real quick. I just want to measure. So I did make this one. Okay, so it is small. Okay. So what I did was I just put this out, put these on the edges here and glued them down. And then I put this over here and glued them down. But I needed to know exactly where I'm going to stamp. So, I mean, you can stamp before or after. For this, you want to keep this all the way to the right when you stamp. So I'm going to bring in the Balmy Blue ink. Bring in my Pierce mat for both those. I'm going to go ahead and glue these down just because I feel like I'll glue it straight, or I will stamp it straighter if it's actually glued in place. And I take this all the way to the edge because it's actually bigger. The white is smaller than the, it's 4 inches, and this is 4 1/8. So just so you know that. And it probably wouldn't even, because this is going to be layered on, or is that how I did it? You know what? What I did was I brought this in later because I was like, I wanted a border. Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Okay, so I have my piece of basic white. We're going to glue that to our lemon lolly piece. Okay. Now you're going to put your designer series paper on top of the lemon lolly, and then this is going to go all the way to the corner. And the reason I did this is because I wanted there to be a lemon lolly line here. Now what you could do if you wanted to save paper, you could just cut your designers or your white piece smaller to fit in here, but this is how I did it. So this is how your kit will come, except for your designer series paper, you'll cut it. I actually messed up a minute ago, and I'll probably end up editing that out, but just so you don't have to watch it. But I know there's paper where I ripped it off here. Just goes to show that there's always more than one way to do something. I mean, if you're one of those real conservative people with your cardstock, then you may just want to cut your basic white smaller, because you could do that. You could have cut this piece right here smaller and it would fit in there versus the way I just did it. Okay, so now we're ready to stamp. I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Hopefully I get the stamping perfect because, you know, we've done all this work. So I'm using the Balmy Blue. And I'm just going to stamp Hang in There from the stamp set. That will be on the inside. This is the stamp. We're doing Just a Note and Hang in There. Now on the white piece, you want to stay all the way to the right because you're going to have a balloon over here. Your heart balloon is going to be on that side. Now you want to save enough room to put maybe what I did with my sample card. I actually put one of the gems on the side there, or whatever they call those. But you can leave at least enough room for that if you want. Okay. Now let's continue to glue. Since we were working on the inside, we'll go ahead and glue our inside in. Okay. And then we'll close that. Now we're going to, our scene will go on this one. And if you want, you can, you don't have to pick this scene. You can pick the stripe side if you want. It's really up to you what you want. I just thought this would be a really cute focal point, so I made it like that. Also, if you didn't want your designer series paper to, you could make this different. You could flip it and have, you know, this on the inside or this on the outside if you wanted. I just really love this pastel stripe. This paper is really cute. I am going to stock up on this and because I can use it for Easter. I can use it for summer. Baby cards. This would be perfect for baby cards. Birthday, whatever. Okay. Oops. Okay, now this one. I'm going to show you a little trick with this card that I kind of learned the hard way. When you're gluing on the last panel, the top panels. Okay, line that up pretty good. Now for this. Now, if you want, you can put a piece of adhesive sheet behind this and make it a sticker if this little bit of, if this is too small for you to put your glue on. And then these little pieces, they barely, you just want to put just a little bit of glue just on the tip. And even that right there is probably too much. So I'm just going to kind of dap that off. And then you want to just barely put your basket on there. I actually die cut the wrong basket. Hold on one second. Let me die cut the other basket real quick. Okay, so if you look on in your dies, there are 3 different ones. The one you're going to want is the one that has the skinny lines like that. Well, you can use any of them, but this is the one that fits on the back of this heart real well. And you still only want to get a little bit of ink, or I mean glue on the tip. And then I found it easier just to lay it down and kind of do like that. Okay. So now I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals, but I gotta wait to put the bar on here. So this is my tip for this. On my original card, which I fixed it, but I ended up tearing it, this was out a little bit. It was like, you could see like a gap between here. And that's because when I glued the layer down, it was not completely flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay one of my, see how that gap is there? You got to kind of make sure that when you're laying down this layer, it's pushed in a little bit. Like it's touching the, where it's cut. And I'm just going to layer these on real quick. Now, if you didn't want your piece to be 3 layers here, you could always stamp on the lemon lolly. You don't have to stamp on the white and then have the white layer. It's up to you. Because I didn't outline the rest of it in the white. I just added the white here and on the inside for stamping. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to glue this just like that. Now, you want to try and make sure you have enough room for your balloon, so your balloon's not, your basket's not hanging off. So kind of get it to that point. And you're only putting glue on this, on each, for these 2 flaps. Okay, so we don't want to put glue past here. Same thing on this side. Just kind of lay that down so you know about where you want it. And this is going to go all the way from one side to the other. Okay. And what it's going to do is it's only going to raise this up. So this and the balloon will raise up, and then you raise up this flap right here for your second greeting. Okay, so we're going to pop these up on dimensionals. And I just make sure I put them on here so I don't have them in the wrong spot. Okay. So now we'll bring in our rainbow adhesive back dots. I really love these. I'm a pastel person, so these are just me colors. The pink, the blue, the purples, the like Calypso Coral's one of my favorite. Lemon Lolly, when we got that color, I was excited because we really didn't have a pretty bright yellow. We just had what I would say like kind of like mustard yellows. So I'm going to bring in one of these big ones and just kind of have it over here, and then just use 2 smaller ones for on here. Now you can decide with your scene where you want to put them or what you want to do, or you can put them on your however you want, but that's the card right there, card number 2. Okay, so I realized that when I did the video, I made a mistake, and I just want to make sure that I let you know I'm gonna splice this in before I do the video. When it comes to, if you can see, this was my first one I made. There is a Azure Afternoon border around this edge, and this is the one that I actually make on camera. There is not. In your kit, you will have that piece with the border, and I will make sure that the PDF has the correct measurements and correct color to this card, because it makes it stand out a little bit more, as you can see. Or if it, it's up to you what you want to do with yours, but I just wanted to make sure you knew that. I do actually like the size of this one because it gives me more room to design, but I do also like the frame around this one. So just keep that in mind when you get your kit, that it is going to have the Azure Afternoon trim around your, this would be the piece that you would do your stencils on. And in your kit, I'm only giving you the one stencil to use for both cards, just so you know. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so now for card 3, we're going to cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm just going to first do the 5 1/2 because I can use the card base for something else. We're going to do the same thing with the thick Whisper White. And you just want to make sure that they're the exact same size. So this piece is going to be our inside pull tab, and you want that to be 3 by 4 3/4. And then you're going to have another piece that is going to be at the bottom, and it's going to be 2 3/4 by 3 3/8. And then you're going to need one more piece at 3 by 3 5/8. Okay, and then we're going to need our side panels. So for mine, I just picked the stripe. So we're going to go ahead and cut those side panels. Let's see if I still, yeah. I decided to do the lines horizontally because, or in the landscape, because I wanted to get every single color. If I would have turned it this way, you would have only got, it would have been different colors on each side. So that's why I did the stripes the way I did. But this is going to be cut at, you need 2 of these, and this is going to be cut at 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. Oh, cut that one too big. I'll put that to the side for something else. By 5 1/4. Now, if you care about, you know, your colors lining up, you want to make sure that you have the same color to your left that you did with this one. Okay, we'll put those to the side. Okay, so we're going to take our Azure Afternoon piece. We're going to align this up at the 3.5 inch mark. Then we are going to bring our cut blade to 3/4. I'm going to turn my trimmer this way so it's easier for me to see my lines. I'm going to put this on 3/4. Make sure you're at the 3.5. Okay. You're going to cut from the 3/4 all the way down to 4 3/4. So you'll push that in, go all the way down to 4 3/4. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. We're just going to flip our cardstock. Make sure you get it lined up at 3.5. Now I'm just going to, since my blade's still in the same spot, I'm just going to push down, pierce, and go right back up to the 3/4. Okay, so if that confuses you, you're cutting from 3/4 down to 4 3/4 on both sides, just like that. So this is what you want your paper to look like. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to, let me turn my cutter around. We're going to line this up at 4 3/4. And then we're going to cut from inside the cut line, from cut line to cut line on the inside. So you're just basically lining your trimmer up on those lines and cutting down to the next line. Okay, and that should cut it all the way through and have it pop out just like that. Okay. Okay, so now that we have this cut, this is actually going to be the bottom of your card. You're going to place the bottom of your card to the left, and you're going to place in your trimmer at 1 1/4. You're going to get your cutting blade out of the way. We don't need that anymore. And you're going to score in between the cut lines. So in the middle. I went a little bit too far, but that's okay. And then you're going to move it down to 3 and do the same thing, only in the cut lines. It's hard for me to see because I'm way back at the back of the table. And then again at 4 3/4. And again, you're just going to do from cut line to cut line. Okay. Okay, so we're going to push this up for a valley fold, pull it back for a mountain, push it up for a valley. And that's how our mechanism goes back and forth. We're going to flip it over. We're going to use tear and tape. You can use tear and tape, glue. If you're going to use Seal, I suggest you use Seal Plus. You're going to do the sides and the bottom. You want a really strong adhesive because this is like, you know, a working mechanism that you want to make sure is backed up by strong adhesive since you're going to use it a lot. And then you want a piece on this bottom cube. Okay, So the first one, you're going to, this bottom one, you're going to pull that off first. You're going to take your 3 by 4 3/4 piece of cardstock, and you want to lay this down to where this goes right at the very edge and even on each side. Okay. Now you're going to move that kind of out of the way a little bit. You can flip it up if you want. And this right here, you're going to cut a chunk out of the top. This is a 1 3/4 inch punch. You can use whatever you have. It doesn't have to be this size. I'm just using it because it is a current product. You're going to cut that chunk out. Then you're going to bring in your layering piece, the one that goes on the back, and you're going to line it up. We haven't adhered it down yet. You're going to line it up and cut that same chunk out. Now, if you want, you could use okay, just like that. So now you're going to bring that back around and adhere it down. Sometimes it's easier to just stand it up. Okay, so then you want to test it and make sure it works. Okay, so now we're really the only thing left to do is decorate it. So, but first, now, if you don't have some kind of hole punch, you can use your take your pick tool and poke a hole through. I suggest that you pull it out to do your hole if you're using this to make sure. I'm going to use a crocodile. I have all the crafty things in my craft room, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this. But you can use this if this will work. Now, for my string, I'm going to use the, let's see, I don't even know what I did with mine. Hold fast. Okay, so I'm just going to put these 3, I'm going to use all 3 colors of the linen thread, or the, what is this, the balloon. It's the one that goes with the balloon set. The Baker's Twine 3-color pack is what it's called. Now you can measure off however much you want. I'm measuring off about 7 inches. You don't have to use all 3 colors if you don't want. I'm going to put both of the ends together just like this and feed them through the top. And then I'm going to keep that loop, and I'm going to loop it through. Then I'm going to cut it down a little bit. So you probably wouldn't even need the 7 inches. You might only need, I just cut off 2 inches, so you can cut that off. But then you have the mechanism to do your pulling. Okay, so now let's decorate. We did those 2 panels that are going to go on the sides here. I'm just going to glue those down. I hope. Okay, we're doing seal. Remember to keep in mind which color you're putting down if you want the colors to match. Okay, so now we're going to take the, while this is sitting up like this, you're going to have a piece that goes right here that sits just like that. I'm not going to glue it down yet. I want to decorate it first, so I'm going to get all the things out to decorate that real quick. Okay, so I'm bringing in a scratch piece of paper, and then for the... I'm going to actually sponge on some clouds for this. So I took a piece of paper and created my own little cloud stencil, kind of, from the basic border dies. And I am going to use my blending brushes, and I'm just going to put some clouds. Now keep in mind, you really cannot see very much of this detail, so think about that when maybe you want to put more of these heavier brush strokes down here at the bottom and in that left corner, because you honestly don't even see the majority of it, depending on the placement of your large clouds anyway. And then what I do is I flip it over and start creating more and try to line up somewhere. Like if I'm going to go with this little thing in here, I'm not going to color over here. I'm going to just color on this side. And I might not push down as hard, just kind of give it a little softer touch. I think I'm going to go up one more, because you really can't even see that. Basically what I do is I just flip my paper over, or my stencil over every time to make the design a little different as I go up. Now you can make this as light or as dark as you want. My first card, I did it super, super light. Okay, so that's our clouds. You're going to leave this out, and we're going to punch 2 clouds from this, and we're going to die cut 2 clouds from the bundle. Okay, I went ahead and die cut, and now I'm going to punch out 2 clouds from the cloud punch. And now I'm going to, you can either go around them with your brush, around the edges like this, just to make them kind of stand out a little bit, or you could just do the edges. I'm going to actually bring in my sponge. I prefer a little sponge, and I'm just going to go around the edges a little bit. I'm not sure which side I'm going to use, so I'm going to go ahead and sponge both sides just to be on the safe side once I figure out. I didn't like the original placement I did, so I thought I'd play around with it a little bit and see if I like something better. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to get a scrap piece of paper to stamp this balloon, and then I'm going to die cut this balloon and die cut all these extra elements. So first we're going to do our stamping real quick. I'm going to get this brush out of the way. I did those two colors in Azure Afternoon and Lemon Lolly, so let me grab those colors. And now, I've stamped this a lot of times, and I feel like you definitely want to use the Stampin' Pierce mat when you're stamping. You want to have a little scratch. Well, you don't really need the scratch paper, but let me grab. Here we go. Okay, so I found that stamping the one in the middle first is actually easier for me. I don't know why, but it just was. So Lemon Lolly in the middle, and this is a solid image, so give it a few seconds to take grip. Okay. The second one is going to be Azure Afternoon. Now I'm going to have to pray. Hopefully I'm not sticking my head in the camera between the glare. Not too bad. I could have went up a little bit more, but that's okay. All right. Now I'm going to, let's see, I can go ahead and stamp also. So I'm using, let's see, I think that is, let me look at my colors. I have to look at oh, I got all my colors over here. That's why. I believe that's Fresh Freesia. And the sentiment says, just a note to lift you up. And then on the inside it says, hang in there. So we're going to grab those two stamps. I'm just going to grab a scrap to stamp on. Okay, put that to the side. And then on the inside, I did hang in there. close all these up. I'm going to fussy cut this off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and did my, cut out all my die cutting and things like that. So I cut out of the DSP, I cut this piece. And I'm going to layer this piece over top. And I definitely should have done window sheet, or no, the sticker sheet. Definitely should have done that for this. This is so detailed and tiny. Oops. And you don't want your any of that to seep out, because then your card will stick together. Okay, and then same thing with this little detailed piece. A few minutes ago my glue wouldn't come out, now it's oozing. That's why I always say I have a love-hate relationship with glue. Actually, before I even, I'm going to stick my basket on first. And if I remember right, I think I cut these off. Because all I want to show is the pink part behind the blue. I'm not going to lie, I re-stamped my image over again. And I'm glad I did, because I actually realized I wasn't even using the right color. I was using Tahitian Tide or something like that instead of the Azure. Now I'm just putting this right up there. And then because this doesn't look like it goes together, what I did was I put one of these over top of it. You can pick which one you want to do. I think I went with the smaller one, to be honest, because it was wider. My fingers are so sticky. Okay, so now I've got that piece. There should be somewhere the basket for here. I know I cut it because I can see the piece over there, but where it ended up, who knows? Alright, let me cut another one real quick, because I have oh, here it is. It's sitting right on the die cutting machine. This one is very, like, I almost don't even want to mess with the glue and just do my, what I do, oh, here it is. At the bottom of my balloon, I think I'm just going to put some tape runner, or I cannot get used to calling this seal. I guess because I don't use it that much anymore. When we had the snail, I used it all the time, but I don't use it that much anymore. I mainly use the glue. Okay, so all this is going to be popped. Well, I didn't pop up. You want to try and make your seat. Let me wipe my hands off because I'm getting it all on my stuff. Okay. I just want to, what I'm thinking this time is that I want to do it kind of like where this is here high and this is low. I definitely want the bigger one in the front. And these clouds, they honestly can come out. They don't have, even this can come out as long as it doesn't go past the, maybe it'd be better if I laid it on here because then I can kind of get an idea. Yes, I've already done this, but I didn't really like the placement. Maybe I won't put clouds. Maybe just one. Let's see. I want this. Let me get this out of the way now. I'm getting that. You can tell I got little blue everywhere. Okay, so this cannot exceed past here. This. Maybe like that. And then maybe like that. Still don't like it. Okay, well, we're going to just stick to what I had the first time then. Okay, so what I did the first time was I had it coming kind of center to here, and this one was kind of up here. Then I made sure this was here. So I'm going to glue this to this. And then I'm going to, I had this all the way up here like that. So I'm going to glue this to that. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it over and put dimensionals on all of it. Okay. Now for these, I glued down the bottom layer here. Then with dimensionals, I popped up this one. Then I used dimensionals on the back here, but I'm going to grab some minis, and with the minis it won't be as high, as tall. And then I'm going to pull this up. And this is going to make sure you don't get your glue past your finger point. Just glue it down. And then we're going to bring in our rainbow adhesive back dots. And I just grabbed, you can grab whatever color you want. I think I did the blue just because the sky was blue, but you can do whatever you want. And that's our card. Pretty cute.